Hi everyone, I'm Shirley Liao. In this lesson, I will introduce Microsoft Access 2007. You will learn how to create a database, search and filter a database, sort database, and create and use queries. Database is a program that stores information such as names, address, and phone numbers, or inventory part numbers, shipping days, customer codes, and any other type of information that you think it worth saving. Access 2007 helps you to store information in a database. Access provides two huge advantages over storing information. First, Access can store literally billions of chunks of information. Second, Access makes it easy to search and sort through your information in the blink of an eye. A database is nothing more than a file that contains useful information that you need to save and retrieve in the future. A database can consist of a single name and address, or several million names and address. A typical Access database file consists of several parts. Fields. A field contains a single chunk of information, such as name, street address, or phone number. Records. A record consists of one or more fields. A business card is a paper version of a database record that stores fields: name, address, phone number, and so on. About a single person. Tables. A table displays records in rows and columns, much like a spreadsheet. Tables group related records such as records of all your customers or records of all your invoices. Forms. A form displays all the fields of a single record on screen, creating a paper form so that you can add, edit, or view a single record at a time. Queries. A query lets you retrieve certain information based on your criteria, such as only retrieving names and address of people who earn more than $50,000 a year and have children. Reports. A report arranges your data in a certain way, such as showing all customers who placed more than 1,000 orders last year, or all customers who live within a certain zip code. To design a database, you need to first create a database table and then define the names of all the fields you want to store in that particular table. Database tables let you divide a file into separate parts For example, one database table may hold the names and address of all your customers. A second table may hold the names and the address of all your employees, and a third data table may hold the names and address of your suppliers. Access stores all this related information in a single access file that's saved on your hard drive. To design your database, you can create a database from scratch or use an existing template, which you can modify. Designing a database means defining both the number of fields to use for storing information and the maximum amount of data each field can hold. If you have a field that stores numbers, what are the maxima and minima limits on the numbers you want to save in that field? If you are storing someone's age, you probably don't want the field to contain negative numbers or numbers beyond 200. If your field needs to hold salaries, the field may need to hold large numbers but no negative numbers. Access can create a blank database or a spatial database by using one of many templates available from the Microsoft website. No matter how you create a database, you will likely need to modify it to customize it for the type of data you want to store. To create a database, follow these steps. Click Start button. Click Microsoft Access 2007. Then the Backstage view appears. Access displays a variety of options. Click an icon such as blank database or a database template. If you click on a template, the right pane shows a preview of your template. Click in the File Name text box and type a descriptive name for your database. If you click on the folder icon that appears to the right of the File Name text box, You can open a dialog box that will let you define a specific drive and folder to store your database file. Click the Create button to create your database file. Access displays your database. Editing and modifying a database. After you create a database from scratch or from a template, you need to modify it by giving each field a descriptive name, defining the size of each field, or adding and deleting a field. Naming a field. If you create a database from scratch, Access displays general field names, such as Field 1. If you create a database from a template, you'll see the descriptive field names, but you may still want to rename the fields to something else. To rename a field, follow these steps. In the All Table pane on the left of the screen, double-click the table that contains the fields you want to rename. Access displays the datasheet view of your database. Double-click the field column head that you want to rename. Access highlights the column. Type a new name for your field and then press Enter when you are done. Editing and deleting a field. Sometimes you may need to add a field to make room to store new information. Other times, you may want to delete a field that you don't really want after all. To add a field to a database table, follow these steps. Click Add New Field. And you can rename the column. Choose the type of field you want to add, such as currency or text. SS inserts your field and gives it a generic name. You can choose different type: text, memo, number, date, time, currency, yes or no, OLE object, hyperlink, attachment. To delete a field from a database table, follow these steps. Click the field column head you want to delete. SS highlights the entire column in your database table. Click the Delete button. If you have stored data in that field, a dialog box appears, asking whether you want to permanently delete all the data in the field. If you delete a field, you also delete any data that may be stored in that field. Depending on how much data you have stored, you could wipe out a lot of information by deleting a single field. So be careful. SS deletes your choose field. The type and the size of a field. The type of a field defines the type of data the field can hold. Numbers, text, data, and so on. And the size of a field defines the amount of data the field can hold. No numbers larger than 250 digits. Any text string fewer than 120 characters, and so on. The purpose of defining the type and size of a field is to make sure that you store only valid data in a particular field. If a field is meant to store names, you don't want someone typing in a number. If a field is meant to store a person's age, you don't want the field to accept negative numbers. To define the type and amount of data a field can store, follow these steps. Click the Home tab. In the All Tables pane on the left of the screen, double-click the table that contains the fields you want to define. SS displays the datasheet view of your table. Click the bottom half of the view icon that displays a downward pointing arrow, which appears in the Views group. A pull-down menu appears. Click Design View. Access displays the design view of your database table. Click in the Field Name column and edit an existing field name. If you click in a blank row, you can add a field to a database table. Click in the Data Type column. A downward pointing arrow appears. Click the downward pointing arrow. A pull-down menu appears, listing all the different types of data you can define to store in a field. Choose a data type, such as number, text, or date, time. Access displays a General tab at the bottom of the screen, which contains different options for modifying your chosen data type. Click one of the data type options, such as Format or Input Mask List under the General tab. Sometimes you have to type a value directly into a data type option. Other times a pull-down menu appears, from which you can choose an option. Repeat steps for each data type option you want to modify. You do not need to modify every data type option. There are several data types you can select. These types are as below. Text to store text information, such as name. Memo to store text data. The number of characters can be entered more than text type. Number to store numeric data which can be calculated. There is more detailed classification. Date, time. To store the date or time. Currency. To store monetary number or the amount of money, such as price or deposit. Auto number. To serial number of each data. Yes, no. To store two kinds of data to distinguish, such as yes or no. OLE object. To store various types of files, such as pictures, music, animation. Hyperlink. To store the URL hyperlink. Attachment. To store a touch file, allowing the data is attached to the database. Typing data into a database. After you create a database table and define fields within that table to hold chunks of information, you are ready to type in actual names, phone numbers, and email address into each field. Access gives you two ways to enter data: through Datasheet view, through form view. Datasheet view displays information in rows and columns, where each row represents a single record and each column defines a specific field name. Datasheet view can be especially handy for examining multiple records at once. Form view displays all the fields of a single record on screen. Form view is most useful when you just need to view or edit a single record, such as typing in the phone number of your client or boss. Using Datasheet view. Datasheet view is the default view for entering data. To view and enter data in Datasheet view, follow these steps. In the All Tables pane on the left of the screen, double-click a table. Access displays the datasheet view of your table. Click in a field defined by the column and the row. Each column defines a field, such as a name or address. Each row represents a single record. If you click in a field that already contains data, you can edit or delete that data. Press Tab to select the next field. Type or edit the data in the field. Let's practice to create a table and type data. Click Create. Click Table to create a new blank table. Then click View, Design View. You have to save as the table 2. To set up the data type, set up the memory type to be yes or no. Then click Datasheet View. You must first save the table. Then the table structure is finished. We can start to input the data. Repeat these steps to input the data. You can change the row height. Or you can right-click mouse to set up the row height. Input the number. Or you can set up to standard height. You can change the column wise. Right-click the mouse. Select column wise. To set up the column wise. Or select standard wise. Then click OK button. Using Form View. The biggest problem with Datasheet View is that it can be confusing to find a field for a specific record. Because most people are familiar with paper forms or index cards that arrange related data fields on a page. Access offers you Form View. Form View simply displays the fields of a single record on screen. To use Form View, you must first create a form and arrange your fields on that form. After you create a form, you can add, edit, and view data through that form. Creating a form. The simplest way to create a form is to let Access design one for you, which you can modify. To create a form quickly, follow these steps. In the All Tables pane on the left of the screen, double-click a table. Access displays the datasheet view of your database. Click the Create tab. Click the form icon in the Forms group. Access creates a form. Notice that the form name automatically uses the name of the database table you choose. Click the Save icon on the Quick Access toolbar, or press Ctrl+S. The Save As dialog box appears, asking you to type a name for your form. Type a descriptive name for your form in the Form Name text box, and then click OK button. Access displays your form's name underneath the All Tables pane. The next time you open this database and want to view the form, you can double-click the form's name in the left pane. Viewing and editing data in a form. After you create a form, you can use it to edit and add data at any time. To view a form, follow these steps. In the All Tables pane on the left of the screen, double-click the name of the form you want to use. Access displays the form view of your database. Click one of the following icons. They appear near the bottom of the screen to display a record. First record displays the first record stored in your file. Previous record displays the preceding record in the file. Next record displays the next record in the file. Last record displays the last record that contains data. New blank record displays a blank form, so you can type in data that will create a new record in your file. Click in a field and type the information you want to store, such as a name or phone number. You don't need to use the save command to save your changes, because Access automatically saves any data you add or edit in your file as soon as you type or edit the data and move the cursor to a new field or record. Editing a form. A form can be a convenient way to view all the fields of a single record. However, you can always rearrange the position of certain fields on screen to make them easier to find. Or you can delete one or more fields altogether. This can be handy to create a form that shows only a filtered view of your data, such as a form that shows you only employee names, phone numbers, and email address, instead of also showing you their salaries and employee ID numbers at the same time. Deleting a field. If you delete a field from a form, you simply prevent the form from displaying any data stored in that field. For example, if you don't want to see each person's hire day, you can delete the hire day field from your form. Deleting a field on a form doesn't erase any data. It just keeps you from seeing that data on a particular form. To delete a field from a form, follow these steps. In the All Tables pane on the left of the screen, double-click the name of the form you want to use. Access displays the form view of your database. Click the Home tab. Click the downward pointing arrow underneath the view icon in the Views group. A pull-down menu appears. Choose Design View. Access shows your chosen form in Design View, which displays a background grid to help you align fields on your form. Click a field you want to delete. Access highlights your chosen field. Each field consists of a field label and the actual field itself. The field label contains descriptive text that defines the data, such as name, age, or sales. The field contains the actual data, such as Fred, 47, or $34.08. Click the Delete icon in the Records group. Access deletes your chosen field. If you press Ctrl-Z right away, you can undelete any field that you just deleted. Click the downward point arrow underneath the View icon in the Views group. A pull-down menu appears. Choose Form View. Access shows your form with the delete field missing. Editing a field. Before you can add a field to a form, you must make sure that the field already exists in your database table. For example, if you want to add a field on a form that displays phone numbers, you must first create that field in your database table and then stuff it with actual data. To add a field to a form, follow these steps. In the All Tables pane on the left of the screen, double-click the name of the form you want to use. Access displays the form view of your database. Click the Home tab. Click the downward pointing arrow underneath the View icon in the Views group. A pull-down menu appears. Choose Design View. Access displays your form in Design View. Click the Design tab. Click the Add Existing Fields icon in the Tools group. Double-click a field. Access displays the field label and a field on your form. Move the mouse pointer over the upper right corner of the field label and draw the mouse. Hold down the left mouse button and move the mouse to move the field label on your form. Repeat these steps, except move the field instead of the field label. Click the downward pointing arrow underneath the view icon in the Views group and choose from View. Access displays the form view. Notice that the form displays both your newly added field and any data stored in that field. Searching, sorting, and querying a database. If you need to find a specific name in your database, if you need to find the names of everyone who ordered more than 50,000 worth of suppliers in the past 3 months, trying to find this information yourself would prove tedious and time-consuming. Access can search for this information at the blink of an eye. If you search for specific types of data on a regular basis, you probably don't want to keep telling Access what to search for over and over again. To simplify this, you can create a query. A query lets you define specific ways to search your data and save those parameters so you can retrieve data instantly the next time you need it. Besides searching through data, Access can also sort data. Sorting can be as simple as organizing names alphabetically, or it can be more complicated, such as sorting names according to zip code, annual salary, and alphabetically by last name. Sorting simply rearranges your data so you can study it from a new point of view. By searching, sorting, and querying your data, you can extract useful information about your data. Searching a database. A paper database is useful for storing information, but not so useful for finding it again. If you have 1,000 business cards stored in a file, how much time do you want to waste trying to find the phone number of a single person? Searching a database is important to make your data useful. So Access provides 2 ways to search a database. Search for a specific record. Use a filter to show one or more records that meet a specific criterion. Searching for a specific record. The simplest type of search looks for a specific record. To search for a record, you need to know the data stored in at least one of its fields, such as a phone number or email address. The more information you already know, the more likely Access will find the one record you want. If you search for all records that contain the first name Bill, Access could find thousands of records. If you just search for all records that contain the first name Bill, the last name Johnson, and a state address of Washington, Access will likely find just the record you want. To search for a specific record in a database table, follow these steps. In the All Tables pane on the left of the screen, double-click the name of the database table you want to search. Access displays the datasheet view of your database. Click the Home tab. Click the File icon in the File group. The Find and Replace dialog box appears. Click in the Find What text box and type in the data you know is stored in the record you want to find. For example, if you want to find the birthday of a person, but you know only that person's first name, you type that person's first name in the Find What text box. Click the Login List box and choose Current Field or Current Document. Click in the Match List box and choose one of the following. Any part of field. The Find What text can appear in any part of a field. Whole field. The Find What text is the only text stored in a field. Start of field. The Find What text can be only at the beginning of a field. Click in the Search List box and choose one of the following. Up. Searches from the record where the cursor appears, up to the beginning of the database table. Down. Searches from the record where the cursor appears, down to the end of the database table. All. Searches the entire database table. Click Find Next. Access highlights the field where it finds the text you type in. Repeat the step to search for more records that might contain the text you type in. Then, click Cancel or the Close button. Filtering a database. Searching a database is easy but somewhat limited because you can retrieve only a record that matches any text that you want to find. If you want to find multiple records, you can use a filter. A filter lets you tell Access to display only those records that meet certain criteria, such all records that contain people who learn more than 200,000 a year, are currently married, live in Las Vegas, Nevada, and own 2 or more cats. To filter a database table, you must tell Access which field to use as a filter, and then you must define the criteria for that filter. For example, if you want to filter your database table to see only those records listing the names of people who are at least 40, you filter the age field and set the criteria to greater than or equal to 40. Filtering simply hides all records in a database table that don't match your criteria. Filtering doesn't delete or erase any records. Using an exact match for a filter. The simplest filtering criteria searches for an exact match. When you filter a field by an exact match, you're telling Access, I want to see only those records that contain the specific chunk of data in this particular field. By using an exact match filter, you could display only those records that contain Taipei in the address field. To filter a database table, follow these steps. In the All Tables pane on the left of the screen, double-click the name of the database table you want to filter. Access displays the datasheet view of your database. Click the Home tab. Click in the field column that you want to use as a filter. Click the filter icon in the Sort and Filter group. A pop-up menu appears. Clear one or more of the checkboxes that appear to the left of the list of data that appears in the field you choose. You can choose Select All item or Other item. Then click OK button. Access displays the filtered view of your database table of only those items that appeared selected. Repeat these steps for each additional field you want to filter. Using a filter criteria, searching for an exact match in a field can be handy, but sometimes you may want to see records that meet certain criteria, such as finding the names of everyone whose salary is greater than $50,000 a year, instead of filtering by an exact match. You have to define the filter criteria. The type of data stored in each field determines the type of criteria you want to create. Three common types of data stored in fields include text, numbers, and dates, which you can filter in different ways. To create the filter criteria, follow these steps. In the All Tables pane on the left of the screen, double-click the name of the database table you want to filter. Access displays the datasheet view of your database. Click in the field column that you want to use a filter. Click the filter icon in the Sort and Filter group. A pop-up menu appears. Select the filters option, such as text filters or number filters. A submenu of filter options appears. When the field data type is text, the text filters are equals, does not equal, begins with, does not begin with, contains, does not contain, ends with, does not end with. When the field data type is days, the data filters are equals, does not equal, on or before, on or after, and between. Click a filter option, such as between or less than. The custom filter dialog box appears. The custom filter dialog box contains the name of your filter option, such as between numbers or less than. Type in one or more values in each text box displayed in the custom filter dialog box and then click OK button. Access filters your database table according to your criteria. Repeat these steps for each additional filter you want to add. Clearing a filter. When you apply a filter to a database table, you see only those records that match that filter. Access displays a filtered message at the bottom of the screen to let you know when you are looking at a filtered database table. To remove a filter so you can see all the records, choose one of the following. Click the toggle filter icon in the Sort and Filter group. Click the Filtered or Unfiltered button on the status bar near the bottom of the screen. Access temporarily turns off any filters so you can see all the information stored in your database table. When you choose the Save commands, Ctrl+S to save a database table. Access also saves your last filter. The next time you open that database table, you'll be able to use the last filter you create. If you want to save multiple filters, you'll have to save them as a query. Sorting a database. Sorting simply rearranges how Access displays your information. Sorting can be especially handy for rearranging your records alphabetically by last name, by state, or by country. You can also sort data numerically so that customers who buy the most from you appear at the top of your database table, while customers who don't buy as much appear near the bottom. To sort a database table, follow these steps. In the All Tables pane on the left of the screen, double-click the name of the database table you want to sort. Access displays the datasheet view of your database. Click the Home tab. Click in a field column that you want to use for sorting. Click the ascending or descending icon in the Sort and Filter group. Access sorts your records and displays an ascending or descending icon in the field name, so you know you're looking at a sorted list. Click the Remove Sort icon in the Sort and Filter group when you don't want to view your sorted database table anymore. Querying a database. One problem with sorting or filtering a database table is that you must constantly define what you want to sort or filter. In case you sort or filter your data a certain way on a regular basis, you can use a query instead. A query is nothing more than a saved version of your sort or filter criteria. By saving the particular sort or filter criteria as a query, you can select that query by name later. Creating a simple query. If your database table contains dozens of different fields, you may find it confusing to make sense of all your information. As an aid, a simple query strips away fields, so you see only the fields containing data you want to see, such as a person's name and phone number, but not her hire date or employee number. To create a query, follow these steps. Click the Create tab. Click the Query Wizard icon in the Macros and Code group. The new Query dialog box appears. Click Simple Query Wizard and then click OK button. The Simple Query Wizard dialog box appears. Click a file name list in the Available Files box and then click the button. Access displays your chosen field in the Selected Fields box. Repeat these steps for each field you want to use in your query. Click Next. Another dialog box appears. Click in the text box. Type a descriptive name for your query, and then click Finish. That's all the information the wizard needs to create your query. Do you want to open the query or modify the query's design? You can select Open the query to view information. Then click Finish button. Access displays the results of your query as a separate table. Click the File tab and then choose Save to save your query.